Hi, everybody. Hi. Hi. Hello, hello, hello. So, this is me again. My name is Artem, and I'm continuing doing my broadcasts, which are called Shelter in Peace, the quarantine series. So, I'm doing broadcasts 4 times a week for my students and for all the spiritual people, for everybody at all, in which we discuss nothing. so, so we discuss all things spiritual. Um, for everybody who's on the spiritual path. We discuss life, we discuss philosophy, we discuss society, we may even discuss the current situation. So thank you very much for everybody who is joining, who's watching. So just to remind you, so I have a website and a Facebook page and a YouTube channel, so you can watch my content and you can ask me questions. We can speak about the spiritual path and spiritual enlightenment, spiritual awakening. And I'm making this broadcast every Tuesday and Friday at 11 a.m. and every Wednesday, Saturday at 6 p.m. So you can watch some on YouTube, you can watch some on Facebook, and then if you look down in the comments section, then there's a link, and you can click on this link, and then you can watch. Then you can join the broadcast as a guest, and I can add you to the screen just like that. So we have a person who joined the broadcast, and then he left. Aha! Here you are. Yes, I.
What's up?
Yes, it says so. Yes. Hi. So just like that, please come and join us in this conversation. I will be more than happy to address all of your questions if I can with regards to spirituality. So we have our first guest. Hi, Din. How's it going? How are you? How have you been?
It's going okay. There's a lot of anxiety right now.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, just like, I don't know, man. Like, what are we doing? Why are we alive, dude? What's going on?
Mm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Continue. I mean, do you expect me to give you the answer to this question?
I I'm not sure. I feel like you're gonna be like, there's no point. Just live.
Well, yeah. I mean, but I sure, yes, there is no point. I mean, but if you, but I mean, I said that multiple times, and many people said the same thing. So yes, there is no point. Just live and stuff, right? The question is, uh, like, it wasn't a question to me, right? So is there anything that you want to discuss specifically? You may want to share something, or ask me a specific question. Uh, but yeah, I mean, you can say, "What's the point?" You can say, "There is no point," and yeah, I mean,
Uh,
what now, right? So there's what is it that you want to get out of this?
well, I mean, I don't have any particular burning questions. I'm just feeling
Okay,
really poopy and a lot of anxiety today.
so here's an idea. Maybe just for the fun of it. So today is a very kind of slow broadcast. So it's Saturday, and maybe there's not a lot of people. We only have like 4 people watching. So there's you, and then there's Alejandro, who is also here. Hi, Alejandro. And of course, I have some of the questions from the comments. But how about, so that, I mean, you could just tell our viewers and then even other people that could watch the broadcast about you a little bit, about your spiritual journey, about how you came to this place, how you feeling right now, what you have realized, how it was for you, and in that, maybe you will even get closer in touch to where you really are right now, and how you feel.
Sure. Well, essentially, I've always been scared of death, and it's been very big on my mind for most of my life, and it's been paralyzing because I've always asked the question, like, what is the point of life
Right.
if you're gonna die and everything's meaningless?
Mm-hmm.
So I fell into like a very, very deep depression the deepest depression I've been in. Like a couple of years back, I had suicidality and all that, and I discovered you on Quora, Artem, and everything you wrote just seemed like the truth, and it just seemed very obvious to me, like very painful but obvious. So I've been on Slack, and I've been talking to a lot of great people on the community, like Shay and Philip and Ben and Mina and Lindsay, and just all these really wonderful people. And I haven't self-realized. I've made some very small realizations. I've learned how to love myself a lot more and be less harsh to people, and how to live more in the moment and feel my emotions.
Do you still feel somewhat depressed?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really finally let go of the ego yet. I still want to make my character quite happy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, just right now I'm kind of letting go of like the whole dream of self-realization and just trying to love. And I have a partner now, and we talk a lot. But
Right. What you mean when you say you let go of the dream of self-realization? Do you mean that you are uh, letting go of the idea that enlightenment is something that is somewhere there, not here? Is that what you mean, or what do you mean when you say I'm letting go of the dream of self-realization? Do you mean the dream of attainment, the dream that you're gonna attain something grander than yourself, or like what did you mean exactly when you say that?
I'm letting go of the idea that everything will be solved for me if I can just attain self-realization.
Right, right. I see. So like all your problems will like magically go away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
For a brief period of time, and then until like so many other people in the community being dies and things start sucking again.
Right. Yes. 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 And how did you kind of how did you come to spirituality? Like, what were your did you have any experiences? What is your history with direct experience?
I had an acid trip when I was 21, and like I saw consciousness and I saw through the ego or whatever. And that's pretty much like the biggest realization I've ever had. Since then, it's just been slowly loving myself a little bit more every day.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for being honest and telling us a little bit more about yourself. Yes, yes. Self love is the hardest thing, because we aren't taught it. I mean, we are taught the opposite. We are taught the opposite. So it is difficult to kind of relearn yourself. Yes, and the realization of death and the fear of death and love are also very deeply connected. So yes. But you know all that, right? You heard me. So the things that I'm saying, how it's all connected, the fear of death and love and enlightenment, and how it's all connected very much. So what is your current practice? You
I
don't no practice. You don't meditate.
I meditate like once a week.
Once a week. Okay. Why not every day?
I used to meditate every day, but then
Mhm.
like for some reason like I just haven't really wanted to more than once a week, and I don't want to force it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm just asking. How does it feel like to meditate for you?
It feels good, man. Just like I just like let go of like all of the things I'm striving for, and like I can just appreciate what's here a little bit more every time.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So you do feel like it looks like that you do feel some connection to your being, some presence of the, or is it mostly at this point still just learning to be kinder to yourself within your internal monologue, which is occupying most of your attention. Is that how it is?
It like, I mean, the former of what you said seems to connect more with my experience. It's not like, it doesn't feel like this thing like, being, yeah,
Right. Uh-huh.
but it just feels like, oh, like I'm just feeling calmer, like I'm just feeling.
Yes, but there is this kind of this background, so to speak, of or like uh in your daily experience, you said that did I understand you correctly then when you say that in your daily experience there is a background of calmness, or not? I mean, I think that I missed you. Maybe I.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, like the meditation, like whatever is doing the accepting is like, yeah, this is okay.
Okay, so there is a sense of okayness uh, associated with any experience, right? So there is a sense of deeper acceptance of any experience, correct?
Well, yeah, like in the back of my mind, like I know it's okay.
Right. Yes. And it is present in meditation. Is it present? Is it present? This kind of at the back of your mind, you know that everything is okay. Is it present during the day as well?
Like tiny, yeah, a little bit.
I
Like,
said yes. Yeah. So yeah, and of course, when you meditate, you get deeper in touch with it, right? Yes, and the more you uh, the more you use it as a way to experience deeper your own emotion, your own discomfort. The more you use it to glimpse deeper into your own psyche, the more you use it to understand yourself better and to accept yourself better and because this thing, the consciousness or whatever you call it, which accepts all experience, it is there so that you can actually face everything that you need to face, you see, and abandon all the lies that you need to abandon, because it kind of has this infinite power. It has the infinite acceptance that there's no experience which is too much for it, right? So there's no fear which is too much for it. There's no anxiety which is too much for it. Like, it all comes and goes. But this calmness, this tiny little bit that you feel during daytime and much more of it during meditation, that's why the meditation is more pleasurable. It's always there, right? So in meditation, you learn to connect deeper to it, and you also learn to not to mind all the distractions, because it doesn't mind if you're angry or anxious or fearful, and sooner or later, all of those distractions, if you don't try to run away from it, if you don't try to reject your experience, sooner or later they would still subside.
mm-hmm.
And this leaving this pristine awareness wide open. But the process is kind of using this awareness as a tool to familiarize with yourself deeper and deeper with all of these distractions, with your ego, with your suffering.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I know what you're saying, man. Like a part of me just doesn't want to let go, though, because like it's still kind of sweet. Like things are like okay.
I mean, you don't have to, right? Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the uh, like it. It's not possible actually to let go of something which you haven't yet enjoyed.
Yeah.
You see, and even anger, sadness, despair. I mean, this is actually, even these things are wonderful pleasures. Even anxiety is a pleasure. Like everything is a wonderful experience, and you you enjoy your personality in life. You enjoy your emotionality in life, and you enjoy it all in meditation as well, right? But you can't really let go of anything which you haven't yet thoroughly enjoyed. So uh, if you just want to live your life fully and passionately instead of meditating every day, then I will tell you, live your life fully and passionately instead of meditating every day, and do what you want. So, which of course raises another question of why the hell did you even show up today? But that's a different question. You know.
I don't know. I just haven't said hi in a while. Just want
Well,
to.
hi. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing okay. I'm doing
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So you can sort of, uh, it can be a lifelong relationship. You can kind of have a some wonderful time, and then there is a deeper pool. Then you feel like, okay, so there's a pool for solitude, for meditation. There's something that you want to cry for, or experience something and let go of something. There's something that no longer serves you, something that you no longer some part of your conditioning that you're ready to part with. So it's a kind of, it can be a lifelong push and pull relationship. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with, I kind of don't want to meditate right now, or I meditate every week. And as long as you feel good, as long as you feel happy, I don't even have any advice for you. If you say you're happy, I don't have any advice for you. I'm wonderful. So yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Artem.
Well, thank you for coming, nevertheless.
No worries.
It's nice to see you. I hope everything's going to be wonderful for you. Alejandro, Alex, hi guys. Oh,
Hey, Alex.
Monica is also here. Hi, Monica. How's it going?
Hi.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's going great.
So, any of you guys want to discuss anything?
I have a follow up from the talk that you were having with, I don't remember his name. So, what if I don't really feel happy and I also don't want to meditate?
What's the question?
The other one. Pretty much.
Is it a question?
Yeah, not sure now.
See, when I ask you to formulate a question, there's suddenly a difficulty.
Yeah.
Because it is a request into a direction of a greater clarity. You see?
Yeah.
Because what you're really trying to say, actually, I know what you're trying to say. You don't know. What you're really trying to say is, Artem, if I tell you that I am not happy and I don't want to meditate, what advice would you give me?
Yeah, that's way better.
Yes, that's what you're asking me, right? That's what you're asking me. And then on that, I would tell you, well, I won't give you any advice. Right? If you don't want to meditate and you're not happy, then what are you asking from me? What are you asking, right? If you're asking, what do you want me to give you advice for? If you like not being happy and not meditating, live your life like that. I lived my life like that for 40 years. Well, I mean, there were periods where I was happy, right? But generally, I wasn't very happy. I really tried to be, and I never meditated, and I didn't want to meditate. I mean, most people live like that, right? But if you do come to me for advice in this situation, if you say that, then it means that you no longer want to live like that, right? So that you're not satisfied with living like that, right? And then I would see if you want to embark on a serious spiritual pursuit, or continue your serious spiritual pursuit, and then I would ask you, well, why don't you meditating? And then we will get into like why meditating, why you don't want to meditate.
Yeah, I think that maybe want wasn't the word. Like, don't feel like it. Sometimes could be like sort of a better or closer approximation to, yeah, to what was I trying to express. If that makes any sense.
Well, it does. What doesn't make sense is the conflict. You see, because on one hand, so you are not happy on one hand. You have some intellectual understanding that meditation is a practice of well-being, fundamentally, right?
Yeah.
And yet you don't want to meditate. Why? Right? There's always a reason, right? If it was very easy for you, right, it probably, if meditation was just resting for you, if meditation was just okay, I'm going to close my eyes and rest now for you, then you wouldn't bring it up, because nobody out of the blue says, well, I'm not happy, and I don't want to drink tea. What do I do about it? So obviously there's well, obviously, right? You have an idea that meditation is possibly going to improve your well-being, and that also obviously when you start doing that, you're not observing that at all, and it's not very pleasant. That's the situation, right? That's the situation. There's a discontent at life, right? So you're not happy. There's an idea, hypothesis, that meditation is potentially is going to increase your level of well-being by increasing your closeness to reality and your acceptance of truth, right? And then there is actually a question of doing it, which is very uncomfortable, because it is actually much more comfortable for us to stay in the familiar. If we are familiarly unhappy, if we are familiarly discontent, and when we do meditation, we may encounter a lot of feelings and sensations which are very unfamiliar to us. And I'm not just speaking about sensation of joy and happiness and other things which, if they come in meditation, then a lot of people who are unhappy, they would die for them. They would like, oh my God, this is wonderful, this is beautiful, right? But there could be the other way around, right? There could be a sensation of restlessness, anger, fear, like some other emotions which we commonly associate with unhappiness, and they can be more intense, not less intense. So you may feel like meditation makes you much more unhappy because it intensifies your unhappiness. But unfortunately, it's not like there's a way out of your unhappiness, you see, without having embraced and without the willingness to see into your unhappiness, without the willingness to experience and to experience your anguish and to understand all of the delusions, you see. And that is why meditation is uncomfortable, because the moment you just stop the endless activity, and I wouldn't even say activity of the mind, because even in that's also true, but a lot of our, the incessant activity of the mind leads to excessive activity in life. So we are kind of very neurotic in a way, the way that we live life, and we're afraid that if we're just gonna stop for some time, that everything is gonna come tumbling down, and there's a lot of fear, and we're not gonna survive, and things like that, right? So in order to unlearn to think like that, and to feel like that, and to be like that, you have to see yourself like that, and watch it and accept it, and kind of get to the bottom of it, because logically, right, like sitting sitting at one place doing nothing, it has absolutely no reason why it would arise feelings of fear, anxiety, anger, despair, sadness. It makes absolutely no sense why that would be the case. If you just sitting doing nothing, having enough food in your belly. Absolutely. So there is something that there's a lot of hidden things there.
Yeah, actually, I think that just talking about it makes things clearer. Because I'd say that I don't experience really well. Most of the time when I meditate, I feel pretty good. Sometimes, yeah, I get the feelings, the fear, but I think that I just I enjoy too much, thinking. So
There's nothing.
yeah,
There's no problem with enjoying thinking. Yeah,
definitely.
it's. I mean, it's really,
So
really.
I
You
just
can
don't
enjoy.
want
You
to
can
be.
enjoy thinking. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You can absolutely enjoy thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking now. That
Yeah. You can absolutely enjoy thinking. The uh, so the reason that I recommend people to meditate, even after self-realization, is that uh, like there are kind of a different sorts of thinking, right? So there's you can absolutely enjoy thinking, but there's also uh, I'm not quite sure how to really express it. Yeah, yeah. I'm really not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure that I can provide you some good value or comment here. I
that's
don't know.
right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Maybe maybe next time,
Sure.
because yeah, I'll think about it. Uh, in general, you don't have to meditate. That's one thing. You don't have to, and there's no reason to suppress thought. But if you don't like meditation, if you if it's difficult for you to meditate frequently and kind of for a long time, let's say for an hour or for 2 hours, if there's a lot of restlessness, if there's emotion, and in general, if your awakening was recent, then most likely meditation will continue to be a very important practice. And I just like thinking is most likely uh, just an excuse in a way, right? But it's also true that whatever your kind of that you cannot let go of anything before you have enjoyed it. So whatever your kind of state of being is right now, and whatever your life is right now, then enjoy it. And if it doesn't include, in your estimation, meditating every day, then don't do it. You see, so don't do anything that is against your will, right? But my suspicion would be then later, right, after some time, maybe in a couple of years, whatever, then it's kind of gonna call you again, and there would be also a period of time when you will get deeper into meditation. So there could be kind of, again, like a lifelong relationship between spiritual practice and just a kind of a normal life. Yeah. So,
Thank you.
so
Yeah.
let's. Sorry.
It's all right. Sounds good.
Hey, hi, Alex. How's it going?
Hey, how are you?
All right, I'm good. I'm good. Hi, Monica.
Hi.
I have
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I'm very happy with today's broadcast. I'm kind of but whatever I can help you with today, I will try to.
what is it that you're not happy about?
Oh, I don't know. Like some, I just feel like I can't put two words together today, and I'm kind
Oh,
of, kind of very sort of. I'm not sure what to say. Yeah,
okay.
so I don't know. Like I had this feeling both with Din and Alejandro. I was like, I don't know what to say. Yeah. So,
That's
like,
okay.
but you can try me and see if I can.
That's okay. Um, well, I was going to ask something else, but Alejandro, the conversation you had with him brought up something for me. You were going to say that you do recommend after self-realization meditation,
Yes.
but then you started to say you can't quite say why, but you said there's a different kind of thinking
I
involved.
see. I see.
I
Okay.
just
So
wanted
what I meant is that. Hmm, okay. So for me specifically, right? And I think it's the case actually with most people. Uh, and maybe even with all people. But there will be a lot of people who will not agree with me for various reasons. But here's my experience. So initially, after the self realization, there is this very very common uh, uh, illusion, let's say, right? That thought is the culprit of all misery. Thought is the culprit of all suffering. It's not entirely an illusion. That is actually in a way true. So but not all thought. So self-referential thought is the culprit of all suffering, right? And the self-referential thought is when you think of yourself as a personality, and which is complete with all kind of sort of social characteristics, right? So it's a static self-image, and this kind of thought, it gives rise to constant rumination about if you're good enough, what you want to improve in yourself, constant comparisons with other people on multiple dimensions. So, well, like, she's prettier, but I'm braver, and like things like that, including the spiritual dimension, including of how great your spiritual knowledge is, which is usually just bullshit. So it's like if you're an expert in spirituality, you know nothing about spirituality. so,
yeah.
so yeah, so including including all of these dimensions, and it also gives rise, so it gives rise to monologues, your self-evaluating constant monologue, and it also gives rise to dialogues, because like when you speak to another person in your head, right, usually trying to figure something out, or trying to figure out who's better than whom, and what, or trying to like explain to him that he's wrong and you're right, or whatever it is. So the self-referential thought actually is the source of all misery, malice, and sorrow. I'm not speaking, like, of course I would never say that if somebody, cuts your arm off, or beats you, then the problem is your self-referential thought. No, but the reason that this person did that was because in his mind there's a lot of suffering associated with that. I mean, in the absolute majority of cases, like 99, like the absolute majority of violence is all egoic violence. Pretty much non-egoic violence is only hunting and self-defense. So so uh so yes, so there's this very strong uh illusion that thought is the culprit. So initially, when people meditate, so people report all sorts of uh seemingly thoughtless states, right? But they only seemingly thought. And I myself spent a lot of time, like maybe a few months, in a seemingly thoughtless state when I had absolutely kind of no thought. I thought that I operate exclusively by intuition, that no thought whatsoever. I could just sit down and look outside and not think at all. And in meditation, I also had little thought. So generally during those times there's usually still a lot of suppression, because as I say, enlightenment is not about thought. Actually, enlightenment is about emotion. Enlightenment is much more about suffering, and life actually is much more about emotion, much more about suffering than it is about thought. It is about thought in a way that it liberates your mind to think clearly, so you actually get back your mind. But it is, so you can use thought to actually uncover suffering, uncover unpleasant emotion, and uncover your kind of egoic composition, which would be an unpleasant experience. And you can use thought as a tool. But fundamentally, it is not about thought. And thought as a tool remains yours. So, but it can only be seen much later, because initially it feels like you run away from thought completely into feeling and sensation and emotion and an experience and direct experience, and you kind of swimming in there, right? And we forget that thinking is also a direct experience, because thinking is also an experience. Like hearing your own voice in your head is also an experience, and you can think abstractly about like very serious abstract concepts and solving a task or a problem, a physics problem, whatever, or solving like a life problem. Thinking about it is also an experience, and it can be a very pleasurable experience. So enlightenment is not a thoughtless state when you're completely incapable of thinking and solving complex problems. This is idiocy. Enlightenment doesn't make you into a tree. But originally it feels like that. So there's this sort of a trance where like no thought, but a lot of sensations, a lot of emotions and stuff like that. And sooner or later thought starts to come back, right? And and it also starts to be somewhat enjoyable. So there's after this initial kind of shock, thought comes back, but it also comes back in both in self-referential thought, which is whatever's left of your ego. The ego is never completely gone in self-realization, so there's still going to be a lot of thought about relationships and that and this and your ego as your self-image, and there's still and there's a bunch of like just ordinary thought. It's like, oh, I should, whatever, like maybe I should go buy some bread. So thought like this comes up. Just sort of a very mundane, ordinary nature. And actually, in one of the, I don't remember. I think it was maybe it was a Hindu text or something like this. But I do remember reading a description where they said that at the end of the spiritual journey, thought comes back of a very mundane nature. So it's sort of an enlightened, completely enlightened animal, human being, master, whatever, thinks, but it thinks mundane things, just like you. I should go to CVS, buy some Band-Aids. I ran out of it. Just a very kind of mundane, normal thought. So it's very important not to suppress thought, right? But early into the journey,
Hey,
I
Artem,
like thought can be also used as a trick, because there is a moment when you actually start to just enjoy thinking, and you understand that thinking is a part of it, and don't try to suppress thinking and everything. But thought, the self-referential thought, is also weird in a way that it kind of serves as a lid. it is strange. It is very strange. It's a paradoxical, but the very fact that you are always running after the self-referential thought and ignoring all the other sensations that it creates is exactly what prevents you, what saves you from going into all of this sensation very intensely if this thought were to cease. Because this thought is also to distract you in a way from all your pain. You see, because while you kind of constantly replaying the same story again as somebody wronged you, you're actually also preventing yourself with that by really feeling the pain of the slight, for example, or the anger, or whatever it is. So it has this kind of weird property, and that is why when people meditate, and then when they find some anchor, let's say just breath, that's why usually in the beginning, the beginner meditators, you know I don't recommend, and most people don't recommend, to just say, to just witness the mind, because witnessing is kind of complicated at this stage. It's not possible yet to witness the mind, because there's too much identification with the thought. So people are offered sometimes of an anchor, like, let's say, okay, who's typing all the time? No, nobody's typing. Okay, the typing went away. Yeah, it was just distracting for me. I'm sorry, Alex. I think it was you, because you were the only one not on mute. Anyway, so it's okay. You can type. You can just put yourself on mute, because
No, I wasn't typing.
Oh, no.
I'm just holding my phone.
Fuck? I mean, I got 1, 2, 3. Everybody's on mute except, sorry. Anyway, doesn't matter. So when people are given like this anchor, let's say breath, right? So you start focusing on the breath, and you just take the attention away from thought. It still tries to grab it back, right? But you take the attention away from it, and you start noticing how much stuff going on in your body other than the thought, how much emotion this thought creates, how emotions manifest as physical sensations, how they can be unpleasant, how you've been avoiding to feeling that, how there are tensions in the body, right? So all it takes is the skill to pay attention to other things than thought. But this is the skill that we lose in a separate state. Our attention is focused primarily on the thought process. So when you meditate, and when you just use some trick, let's say the breath, and later you don't need any tricks. Later in the journey, you don't need any tricks to be conscious of more than just thought, to be really deeply conscious of your emotions, of the bodily sensations, of everything that's going on, right? But initially, and that's kind of the trick. That's what meditation does, right? Basically, it allows you to feel and experience. It trains you to be feeling, experiencing more than just thought. And even if you don't do it specifically, if you just don't do any breath technique, but if you just meditate 8 hours a day without any instructions whatsoever, even in this case, you would probably start getting irate, tired, of thought, and sooner or later you will start noticing other things, like, for example, the irritation or the restlessness, or the very fact that you are kind of angry at the fact that you're not doing anything, or whatever, right? But you start noticing other things. So the self-referential thought is very interesting, because it distracts us from a lot of things. So when somebody fairly early in the journey says to me, "I like thought, I enjoy thought," then I have a kind of a double reaction. On one hand, I say, "Well, wonderful, this is great. So you know not to suppress thought. This is great. Yes, thought is an experience, and it's also to be enjoyed, which is wonderful. That's great. Yes, but on the other hand, I start to wonder. Well, if you enjoy thought and you like to meditate, you enjoy thought only because you know that the moment you start paying attention to something else, the moment you start to meditate, and thought subsides a little bit, there will be a lot of like sensations and emotions which you will not enjoy.
Mhm.
And if that is the reason, then your statement, Alejandro's statement, I enjoy thought, is basically is not a real state. It's not. He's lying, right? If that's true, he's not really enjoying it. He's just clinging to it because he doesn't want to see other things. So I'm not saying which is the case. I don't know. All I'm saying is like when somebody says that, oh, I enjoy thought, I just don't want to meditate. I'm like, because if you really enjoy thought, then you meditate, you lie down and you think for 2 hours, and then you stand up and like, oh my God, that was just awesome. Oh, I thought so much. It was a wonderful experience. I wish I could do it more. And you can think about a lot of things for like an hour. Like imagine how much enjoyment your thought will give you in an hour if you just lie down and you do nothing but thinking. If you enjoy thought, why don't you do it? So it's so kind of, it's a kind of a double-edged statement. So I always kind of try to push people towards a greater honesty. So if I feel like a more honest evaluation of the situation is that kind of meditation can still uncover a lot of stuff in me, and I just don't want to do it because I'm enjoying myself right now, then I kind of push people to say that, right? So again, I mean, this is a journey which unfolds at your own pace. So you are absolutely free to enjoy and spend as much time as you want and meditate or not meditate and whatever. But if you're speaking to me, if you're coming back, to my channel and you speak to me, then I assume that you speak to me for something, right? And whether this something is more honesty or deepening of your realization or deepening of a spiritual journey, whatever it is, I'm going to try to give it to you, right? So
Yeah. Do you think that, so if I don't necessarily, I could relate to Alejandro because sometimes I really don't want to meditate, but that's because it's unpleasant.
yes,
It's
so
not
yes, exactly,
enjoyable.
yes, very good, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, because that's because right, that there is more to see, there is
Yeah.
more to accept, there is
Yeah.
more to realize about yourself. Yes.
So if I just started with a buddy, actually, we're going to be meditating every day, once a day for like an hour and a half. If I do that, even on a day when I don't want to or I don't feel like it won't be unproductive, right? Like it won't
No,
be counterproductive.
no,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
Unless you so like let me put it this way: nothing can possibly be unproductive to move you towards Buddhahood. That's actually true. Nothing.
Oh.
Nothing
Okay.
can move you further away from it, right? You can only be moved further away from it when you are a child, right? Or when you are continuing to be kind of, well, I'm not even sure if it's possible. I guess it's possible to continue conditioning an adult. Yes, it's certainly probably possible by violence and physical violence, maybe even emotional violence. Yes, certainly. Yes, certainly. I think that that it is possible. But generally, you see, enlightenment is the destination. So generally, we suffer kind of when we suffer in life, we suffer the same patterns. Yes, we kind of inflict suffering on ourselves mostly, not only with our internal experience, but also with our actions, because we repeat the stupid actions. You see, we repeat the stupid actions. So we, like, for example, if we had a traumatic relationships, that oftentimes we get the next relationships, which is also traumatic. Right? If somebody who, let's say, has a very traumatic experience at war and has a difficult time adjusting to kind of civil life and maybe suffering from PTSD and alcoholism and stuff like that, oftentimes it wants to be deployed again because, like, that's all he knows, and what else? That's there's at least some experience there. There's at least some like excitement here, and here, like, there's just, misery and a strange world. So oftentimes we are drawn back to familiar environments, even if they are extremely traumatic for us. You see. So yes, so we kind of we do sometimes repeat stupid actions for sure, but generally speaking, as you repeat the pattern again and again, uh, with years and years, it also weakens, generally speaking, because you know that your life is not infinite. That's why, most people, when they're older, they're also different. They're not as hot-headed as they were before. You see, it's not it's not a coincidence. You see, it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with their physical form, because there are old people which are very grumpy, regardless. Like, they may be weak, but they're extremely aggressive verbally, and then very grumpy, and actually could even use it to their advantage, the fact that nobody's going to hit them, with regards to how verbally open they can be. So there are old people like that. So it is just the fact that older people become kind of calmer and wiser has to do that with the fact that you're repeating this emotional pattern of pain and stupid behavior enough time in your life, and as you slowly, like, your mortality tends to slowly dawn on you when you become much older, so you tend to sort of see how stupid it was. And people do that, like, even as they age, as the people just become more mature. Right? So as people become more emotionally mature and they become more accepting of their difficult emotions, they can also, with that, they gain an ability to see their stupid behavior and change it. That's basically what becoming more conscious is. So, well, could you please remind me what I was speaking about?
Originally, I just asked you if it was unproductive or counterproductive.
Oh, right. Yes. Thank you.
If I don't want
yes.
to.
Yes. So strictly speaking, like, your whole life moves you towards enlightenment. Your whole life moves you towards Buddhahood, consistently, continuously, right? So we cannot say,
if that's true, why is it so?
what?
If that is true, why are there so many few cases of people
Because people
actually
aren't
ever
moving towards it intensely enough. Because
Okay.
we are afraid of pain. We're afraid of suffering. We want to postpone. So basically, the way that most people live their lives is they live their lives.
I know what you're going to say.
Like, what's the word for like so like they live their lives with a pike in their heart, you see, and they postpone removing it
Wow.
until they die. You see, they because to remove it is to understand, to realize, to see all the wronghood and cruelty that has been done to you, and all the wronghood and all the cruelty that you have been done, that you have done. So it's not only, so basically you not only will see how much of a shit everybody was to you, you will also see how much of a shit you were to everybody. It's the same thing. So it is very difficult. You see, kind of to like there's this beautiful movie, like this new movie. Who's typing again?
You know what I think it is, Artem?
What?
It's the mic or like some kind of
Probably. Probably. Papa? Da-da-da. Probably. Huh, that's weird. Okay, anyway, so remember there is this movie, right? I never even said the name. The name of the movie was there's this new movie with Robert De Niro. With Robert De Niro, which was it? The new
The
movie?
Irishman?
What?
The Irishman?
Yes. Did
Okay.
you see it?
No.
Okay, so at the end of the movie, so he was very violent and very brutal, and he believed that he believed that he wanted to protect their daughters. He loved them. He loved his daughter very, very much. And he was very violent, and he was a mafiosi and whatever. And he was very violent. He was. The movie begins with a scene where he, like, literally breaks the arm of the person who of the father of another kid who shoved his daughter.
Oh,
So
wow.
so at the end of the movie, he's all defeated. He's dying. And people come to him, and he says, and everybody says, look, everybody in your mafia died already multiple times ago. I mean, you can multiple years ago. You can tell now, like you can tell what really happened. You can tell the truth. You can tell like whom you killed and with whom and why. And they have all been dead. It's okay. Like nothing's gonna happen to you already. And the daughter comes to him and say, and he has a conversation with the daughter, and he would be like, oh, what? And he's really defeated, but and he says, oh, I just wanted to protect you, and she says, Daddy, what are you talking about? We were terrified of you. We were afraid to tell you anything because you would fly off the handle and you would get so violent. We were terrified of you. And he can't admit that he was wrong. He can't. She basically asks him to say, just admit it, because she wants closure. She wants her father to say, yes, I mean, I was scared. I killed this guy. I was stupid. I wanted to protect. I was so scared, and I was violent. And I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I had to put you through this. I'm sorry that I had to put you through all of this. It was all my fault. I was crazy. But he can't. He can't, because in order for him to say to his daughter, I'm sorry, he would have to cry. He would have to start crying, because he would have to realize what a stupid idiot he was and how much pain he caused to everybody around him, to his daughter, that he traumatized his daughter by beating a man in front of her, that he would have to admit all of that, and he would have to look at the situation through his daughter's eyes, and he would weep. So that's why he can't do it. So he can't do it because it would be difficult for him, right? Just he maybe knows it on some level, but the moment he admits it to himself, of course he knows it on some level. That's why he's defeated. That's why he's so kind of, but I tried to protect. That's why he's like that. He knows it. He tried, he tried his best, but he did such horrendous stupidity that to realize the level of cruelty, the level of stupidity that he kind of performed, he would have to cry. So most people kind of postpone all of this realization about all this shit that they've done in their life until they die. That's basically the idea of God. God is the judgment. You are the judgment. You will judge yourself for everything that you've done because you know everything, same as God does. I mean, everybody knows everything. Just we just tend to forget, you know. And like in this movie Capex, there's this beautiful scene where you know, so, you know, the doctor says, he says, well, if you don't have any laws, how do you know right from wrong, right? And the this guy, uh, who is supposed to be like the alien, whatever, says, well, every creature in the universe knows right from wrong. What is wrong with you people? You know, so you know right from wrong. Everybody does. Like everybody knows. Every human knows that, like, for example, that what he did in this movie was wrong, and the character of the movie, this Irishman, knows that too. It's just that to admit it is difficult because it means that you have to admit your mistake, and you have to also see into the pain, into your own fear, anxiety, insecurity that caused you to make this mistake and to be so cruel. So you will kind of have to forgive yourself internally, and internally also ask forgiveness for the people that you wrong. From the people that you wrong. It is difficult. It is a closure with yourself. So most people live their life, they don't want to go through this process. Enlightenment, spiritual enlightenment, if like if your insight is deep enough, if it's true let go, if it's true surrender, it is basically when you launch into this process and it becomes irreversible. So you can't stop it even if you don't want to, because if you wanted to, you would have stopped it, because nobody wants that. But when you get to the point when it becomes irreversible, this is the point of no return. So you're not going to come back. You go into like understand. You go into release. So the goal of the spiritual practice is to get to that point. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. After that point, whether you meditate or not becomes inconsequential. Right? If you like meditation will and sleep will start to kind of slowly merge into one experience. Like every time you might feel so tired, every time you would just lie down on the bed, it would be meditating, right? So like it's in a way a process of reevaluating your life to kind of become a clean sheet again.
Is there amount of time or average that you
no
see?
it's very personal. So that is why also, like, there's nothing you can do to, and especially after some point, to slow it down. But very rarely people kind of get to the point when it just happens regardless, and it happens quickly, and it happens more or less completely, right? So usually it's like you can do more practice and speed it up, or you can do less practice and kind of sort of stagnate. So life constantly pushes you too. So every interaction, your relationship, your dramas, your traumas, your like everything constantly also pushes you once you turn your attention towards yourself.
Yeah.
But in the absence of it, you can stagnate for a very, very, very long time. You see?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, but the way that you perceive life and your own happiness and well-being will actually depend on it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, I just saw something as you said that the pain that you endure in all the time of not taking that pike out of your heart, and the pain that you endure actively taking the pike out of your heart, essentially the same kind of pain.
Yes.
Just one is facing it, the
Mm-hmm.
other is numbing it.
Exactly.
And
It is essentially the same kind of pain.
Yeah.
And that's why, you see, even if you have some sort of a tragedy in your life, right? Then if you kind of and you walk away with something in your heart. Then with time, as you feel more and more and more of less, you start to feel less of that. It kind of dissolves a little, right? You make your peace with it ultimately. You make your peace with it. It's just that most people, they don't know. There's no information. There's no method. It's not a part of the culture. They don't know the methods, and also they don't want, because it's scary. So even if they knew the methods and they started to use them, they would run into this pain, right? Which is exactly what's happening with you, right? So you know the methods, you started to use it, and you run into more pain in meditations. But yes, that is the same pain. It's just that when you're walking with a pike in your heart, you feel a very small. You're consciously exposed to a very small part of it, which is underneath, but it goes deeper.
Yes.
And that's why you uncover this part, and then there's more.
And your experience of life is limited to the degree that the pike is still fastened in your heart.
Yes, and what you see in life, what you're conscious of in life, because when your pike is still in your heart, you can't see too much. It's too painful. You're moving, like your movements are very limited, constricted. You're afraid to make a wrong one. Like you're speaking to a person and you're afraid to make a wrong move, because if the person responds, ouch, that hurts, right? So I'm not afraid to make a wrong move. When I speak to a person, I'm completely free, right? It doesn't mean that I'm always going to get what I want from the person, but the person doesn't hurt me.
Yeah.
You see, so in the separated state, it's not like that. So you are walking with the pain, right? And that is the trick, because the trick is to drink your pain. You see, like there's no way. You're walking with it. You have to you can't just get rid of it without knowing what it was. You can't get rid of it without looking into it. You can't get rid of it without experiencing it. That is the part that the absolute vast majority of people are in absolute denial. I mean, in the spiritual world, are in denial of and don't want to accept that it is difficult, And even Adya speaks about it in a kind of a euphemisms. He speaks about multi-generational pain, intergenerational pain, and things like that, right? And he speaks about it in beautiful spiritual terms. But the fact is that it's all your pain, And yes, I mean, it's multi-generational, whatever. You can describe it as pain of the other people if you're experiencing it as compassion, as tears, but it doesn't matter. It's still going to be part of your experience. It's still going to be tears of compassion. It's still going to be anguish. It's still going to be anger at people. It's still going to be lots of different things. And you can say it's a intergenerational pain. You can say you're experiencing pain of other people. You can say many, many, many things. In terms of your experience, it doesn't matter. You see?
Yeah. Thank you. I have a lot of clarity. Really appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Good. Okay. Hi, Monica. Let's see. Hi, Monica. Oh, we have. Oh, Shay.
So
Shay. Oh, Shay. Hi, Shay. How's it going? Oh, I muted you. No, I am unmuted you. Hi.
Hi.
Beautiful person. How are you?
I've been crying. It's been a hard day.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, crying is beautiful. I was like when people cry. I like when my wife cries. I like when you cry. I like to cry myself. I'm such a weeper. I weep every morning almost. Yes.
I thought you were going to talk to Monica. Are you asking me to?
Yes, Monica, please. I just wanted to add you to the
Thank you.
to maintain an illusion that we have an attendance, not just 4 people.
Oh, you mean all the people that are in the background that are waiting to get on, right?
What's that?
I said all the other people are in the background waiting to get on.
Well, actually, this is a good question. So right now I have 1, 2, 3. I have 5 guests in the waiting room. So all of them, like Din, Alejandro. So I'm gonna put So if anybody is watching this, anybody other than these people. I'm just curious. I'm not even gonna put you on air, but I'm just curious. Can you try to go to like StreamYard and join? I'm curious what's gonna happen when the seventh person, eighth person, ninth person joins. Like, are you gonna, like, what are you gonna see? Like, if you could take a screenshot for me, that would be wonderful. Okay, Monica, please.
So my question, I mean, is obviously on the meditation that they have started. Is it that it's only possible through meditation that we get rid of our ego, or
No,
um,
no, of course not. I mean,
yeah? So
meditation is
what,
just one.
what would be like, say, top five things that you think that really works and you can really get rid of your ego,
Yeah, I
like
understand.
completely.
Well, okay. Well, yes. So the extent, like I understand this focus on completely, because I had the same focus. I was like, I'm gonna get rid of it completely. It's everybody goes through that. But the fact of the matter is that the part of you which wants it completely is actually also ego. I mean, because like I'm just gonna be done with it. I'm serious. I'm serious. Yes. And I had the same parts. So it's very normal. It's very natural. But here's the thing. Uh, there's strictly speaking. I'm just gonna yeah. I'm gonna put it like this. It's more fun this way. Yes. So there's one method, strictly speaking. There's just one, which is honesty, truth. So brutal honesty. It's not. So if you set the intention to truth, then you're never gonna stop. If you set the intention to anything else, you're gonna stop. You're gonna get stuck. Osho said the same thing, almost with the same words, by the way. Uh, so, uh, so if your intention is for happiness, you're gonna stop very early, like in the fifth body, pretty much. So you guys are gonna spiritual dreaming for the rest of your life. You're gonna have, okay, I'm a soul. There are multiple souls. We're all reflections of each other. That is kind of the fifth spiritual body. The like you got to spend the whole day in non-duality. You're gonna be speaking about happiness. You're not gonna have any idea of what real peace actually is. So if you're going to set intention for bliss, then you're gonna get stuck in the sixth body. You gotta get stuck in the Brahmanic body, in the kind of the universal infinite being, above collective consciousness. No relationships, no suffering, no misery, just bliss and the absolute glorification of being. If you're going to set the intention for peace, you're going to stuck in non-being, in death. You're going to stuck in solitude. You're going to get stuck in passivity. You see, enlightenment is neither of those. It's none of those, and it's all of those, but it's none of those. You see, so it is beyond all of those. You have to enjoy all of that and let all of that go. Because neither of those are truth, and neither of those are freedom. So they are part of it. So so the intention must always be set to truth. Truth, just being very truthful, very honest with yourself. By the way, there's this. Well, again, I mean, just to underscore how wonderful a teacher Adi is. So I saw one of his lectures where he offers the following technique for seekers. He says, just try for a second, just try to follow truth, meaning just try to be absolutely truthful all the time, right? So what he says is that basically say truth to everybody, the way that you perceive it. It doesn't mean that, because at each moment, at each time of the journey, this is, at each moment of the journey, there's truth for you, right? And then he makes this observation that if you commit to do it, then notice that you kind of given your fate, that you have kind of given your fate away to truth. That if you just say, well, I'm just gonna speak truth all the time, no matter what happens, it means that you sort of given control, you have surrendered your fate to truth, right? So it's a commitment of the same kind of magnitude, of the same, not even magnitude, I would say, but of the same core essence. It's commitment of the same essence as a commitment to any spiritual path. But of course, also like some lady would tell all sorts of judgments to another lady, and that is not true. So of course, Adya then needs to clarify what it means, and then he clarifies it as pretty much in the same terms as I do. You speak truth about your experience. You don't say, well, you're a shitty mother, you're a shitty daughter, whatever. That's my truth. That's what I think. No. So just the same thing as we spoke about, nonviolent communication. And so you speak truth about your experience. But yes, in a way, I agree with that, because if you start speaking truth about your experience, you kind of do let go of this desire to control and manipulate how other people see you. You just tell them like it is, and you kind of surrender to whatever they think of you. That's what they're going to think of you. You see? So truth is the deepest. Truth takes you to bliss. Truth takes you to love. Death. Truth takes you to peace. And truth also takes you to the place where bliss and peace, love and death are seen to be one and the same, two sides of the same coin, and they're always with you. So truth takes you everywhere. And if you look at all the methods, all the spiritual methods, that they're all methods about speaking truth, right? Well, there is not speaking truth, but just about truth. So there's meditation, which is actually based on the fact that if you just start doing nothing, if you just stop pedaling the bicycle, and if you just do nothing, and then your mind will automatically start to slowly kind of reintegrate, slowly rewire itself into truth, and slowly abandon falsehood. So it's based on this idea. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. So there are like specific techniques. There are kind of techniques that, well, I spoke about breath as an anchor. Like Vipassana has a huge history. So there's specific techniques that allows you to use it as an insight, but in general, it's true. So if you stop perpetuating, anyway, if you stop like consistently lying, then the mind automatically like starts to expose the lies. Yes. So there's this. Then there's all the other methods, like, right? So radical honesty, speaking with an enlightened master, reading literature, psychedelics are basically just forced meditation. Ecstatic dance is also kind of a trance-like state that kind of helps you. So you see, there is a very interesting connotation, not a connotation, but kind of correlation between truth and experience, because enlightenment is a journey into experience, yes, and experience is primary. So it's a journey into a forgotten state of actually experiencing life the way that it's supposed to be experienced in all of its glory and beauty, not just experiencing your crazy brain. So yes, it is a journey into experience. But what separates us from experience is the insane amount of falsehoods that are spinning in our minds, and the reason they are spinning is because they don't make sense. You see, so we're having a lot of contradictory, false, irrational, insane ideas that all contradict each other, and because there's so much cognitive dissonance, there's always activity there. The only way to resolve the cognitive dissonance, when you resolve the cognitive dissonance, the activity actually falls down. You see, because so, and that allows you to deeper appreciate the experience. You see, because that is the most beautiful thing about life. It's experience. And we kind of fuck it up with the cognitive dissonance and with the drama and with the relationship and with the comparisons and with the constant kind of fighting for the social hierarchies and drama and everything. We kind of fuck it up. I mean, it's not like we fuck it up, actually. You can't fuck it up because you still have all this experience. It's just that on a different level of consciousness, there's the egoic experience, and it's the only one that you are exposed to. That's why there's an illusion that you're miserable. But underneath it all, you're actually just as happy as I am. So you don't quite fuck it up, but you can't kind of remember it, and you feel like your life is horrible. Well, in reality, it's not. You just have to kind of throw away the junk and get more in touch with the real. And the junk flows. That's why the intention is for truth.
So in one of your answers that I've read that it also, I mean, few months back I read that, and then I read it again a few days back. It talked about suffering and dark night of soul, right? So what happens then? It kind of like, I start asking myself that I'm not suffering that much, or is it something wrong with me? Am I not following the right path? Or
well, hold on. So right away, look right away, right? You started comparing.
Yeah. So
you start like immediately. What my experience of life should be. Do you understand what enlightenment is? Enlightenment is when to the question of what my experience of life should be, you answer it should be what it is right now. It's an absurd question. I'm not going to get another one. It is what it is right now. So let me ask you, whatever your life experience is right now, why are you spending time to read about what your life experience should be to be spiritually correct? You see? Why? Why? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, I think it's mind which.
Yes, you want a different experience. What? Yes, you want a different experience from the one that you're having. You think that. So I think that fundamentally you want more happiness. So you think, okay, so if Artem says that the happiness lies beyond suffering, then I have to suffer in order to kind of be more happy. And maybe you're right, but you sort of putting the cart in front of the horse here. Because the question, well, what prevents you from being absolutely happy and fulfilled right now? And the answer is always this exact thought, this process. So it becomes self-defeating. It becomes paradoxical. The process of your thinking and contemplation of your own happiness is what prevents you from the happiness. That's why kind of the practices such as meditation or like, for example, psychedelic medicine or any other practices which tend to focus you and teach you to accept and appreciate your current experience. You see, because in meditation, you may witness how your mind constantly tries to go into the future and explain to yourself how it's all going to be better later. That's exactly You see, so you kind of you first have to learn to be okay with that, because that's what's going on right now. Right now, you're watching your mind always thinking about the past. When you realize how stupid it is, then you will kind of move a little bit deeper into the present. So it is a kind of process where you spiral into the present. You kind of spiral, you see. You let go of some stupidity, but then you notice there's more. You know, you're sort of in the
You like you get them every
yeah.
day. Yeah.
What?
Like you get your stupidities every day, and you don't like you're like, okay, I didn't know that I was so stupid. Like, when you kind
Right.
of do
Yeah.
self introspection. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And as you realize, that some of the behavior is self-defeating, it is creating its own problem. Then, after some time, it slowly leaves you. Then, after some time, you can let it go, because you will notice it again. You will notice it again. You will notice it again. And just like with everything else, you notice and you slowly stop. You see. So it's a process, and meditation and other spiritual practices are methods. Cool. So it's been an hour 25 minutes. I think that I'm about to wrap up. Louis, I read your comments. Yes. I love you too. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you for watching. Shay, I wanted to give you an opportunity to say something before I wrap up.
No, I'll let you wrap up. I can always talk to you about it another time.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you again for giving me opportunity to speak about this favorite topic of mine. And I know I'm a chatterbox, and I love to speak. I can also try to do like another meeting where I speak less and look you in your like in sorry, and look you in your eyes lovingly or something. I don't know if it's gonna work. but I think it works better in person than on video, to be honest. Yeah, but anyway, I'm happy to speak. Thank you very much for your questions. Please like, share. I mean, it all helps it all helps those people who need to find it, who want to find it. It's not like there's very little information out there. There's quite a lot, but still, I mean, if you're living in a main kind of mainstream culture bubble, there is not a lot. So I, for example, lived like 40 years. I had no idea. Mostly, like there were some mentions, but mostly like no one talks about it. So yes, please do that. And then the next one is going to be on Tuesday at 11 a.m. I will probably do less frequently with time, as it's kind of our quarantine subsides, and of course we will do live satsangs too, which, by the way, we can do all sorts of practices there too, and invite some people who can facilitate those too. All right, well, that's it for today. Thank you very much once again. For those who do not know who I am, my name is Artem. I have a website. Please subscribe, join our Discord chat group where we're discussing those things. And I am a spiritual teacher, and I'm helping my fellow beings, my fellow humans who are going through the same fucked up process.
It is totally fucked up.
Yes. Yeah, so if you feel like you're going through something fucked up,
I'm glad you like it.
anyway. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, Artem.
Thank you, Artem. Hey, Artem, I was just
yeah.
curious. You talked earlier about Adyashanti, about these methods he talks about of finding truth or distilling truth within yourself. Do you know where I can is there a specific book or specific article that you read where you found that?
No, I mean,
The way of liberation is good if
No,
you
no,
haven't read
it's
that.
that was not, yeah. So he wrote a book, right? Several books, but that was not an article in a book. That was one of his videos, and he was suggesting that one of the way to foster your commitment to truth is to foster your commitment to truth in your behavior. And that is actually a very good suggestion. And when I listened to it like about a month ago, I immediately realized how wise it is. And I don't make it actually usually. Like what I say is a little bit the opposite. And I say that you can't be absolutely truthful to everybody in your life all the time, but you must be truthful to yourself. But I also say something similar when I say that we all lie to each other about our experiences. And when I had a very very difficult depression, the dark night of the soul, then I actually I got tired of it, and I consciously like started to not hide anything, including like my state, including my employees, my investors. And I was running a company at the time, so I told everybody that I was severely depressed. And so it was so I do give similar advice, right? And we also spoke like recently about vulnerability, and I said to Tessa, right? So when you're vulnerable, then yes, then somebody may be a dick to you about it, sure, right? But it's an opportunity to be vulnerable again, and that's very much in line with what Adia says, right? He says you are true about your experience. You don't know what's going to happen, you stop trying to control it. Somebody might make fun of you for it. Well, now that's your experience. Be truthful about it. You see, that's what he's saying. So he is kind of, but of course, because immediately an incident happened when one lady like unloaded all of her resentment onto another lady, and Nadia had to like, so of course, because it's very easy to misinterpret, right? So that's why I usually say speak truth about your experience. Don't speak what you think is truth about what's wrong with other people, or what if, but speak truth about your experience, you see. And it's like, remember that I'm feeling uh, betrayed is not the truth about your experience at all. At all. It's an evaluation. Basically, you're saying you have betrayed me. So you have committed a bad act. It has zero information about your experience. So I feel betrayed has absolutely zero information about your experience. People forget this mind-boggling fact, that I feel attacked contains zero information about your experience. It's a statement that contains only one fact. I think that you're deliberately attacking me. That's all it is. To this you can say yes or no. Well, yes, you're right, I am attacking you, or no, I'm not deliberately attacking you. So that's it. There's no like conversation, there's no dialogue, there's no explanation of experience, there's no request, there's nothing. But this is how we speak to each other, you see. And then we kind of wonder why we can't find common language. Well, we don't speak to each other at all. We only accuse each other, you see. We think that I feel attacked is an information about our experience. No, it's an accusation, 100%. There's like not a 1% there which has any informative content. Well, maybe there is a 1%, which is the accusation itself. You attack me. that's the only thing. Yeah, so he is saying, so you got to be careful with that. But he's pointing towards a deep truth. A deep truth is that being truthful in your speech is freeing in itself, but we are scared because of the emotional reaction to our own words and to the words of others, as how they react to our truth.
Clear.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.